Hey everyone, welcome back to another writing video. My name's Alyssa and this is my channel Shiva Shay Writes Books. Today I'm going to be doing an all about my novel video for my novel that has no title yet because I am only on page 9 of chapter 1. So I just have no title for it yet. But I'm just going to give kind of a brief description of what this is about because I'm really excited about it right now. And I've been doing a lot of research for it. I have some that I printed out right here, and you can probably tell, probably not, that picture. I don't know if you'd be able to tell just by that, but I do have the first page. I thought I was not going to be writing this, and then I tore the first couple pages out, but that is the first page, and I wrote on the back of the second page as well. But this story I started on July 5th, on Thursday, last Thursday, and it pretty much was a story that I bounced off of the one that I'm working on called Lake Ridge. I thought I'm kind of going back and forth between wanting to connect this story to Lake Ridge and not wanting to connect it because I have a perfect way that I could connect it. And it would be kind of like a prequel and a start to Lake Ridge. But I don't know. I might keep it as its own thing. This is a historical fiction / fantasy novel. There's a little bit of fantasy in there just because of witches. A little bit of actual magic going on. I've already written in a little bit of what the main character does, and they have yet to figure it out. I'm just writing a really cute scene right now. Literally, I'm in the middle of a sentence. That was the last thing that I wrote. But yeah, I'm really excited for this story, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys kind of a basic premise of what this story is about. So, this is set in Salem, 1692, takes place during the witch trials, like kind of in the beginning, and it literally starts off with a crowd in the center of Salem, or in the center of Salem Village, and I'm trying to keep it really close to the actual time period. I'm doing, like I said, a lot of research, just reading about like their clothing, what they ate. I haven't really had to explain what they eat, but I have had to explain their clothing, and I'm just trying to make sure I have it historically accurate because it is pretty much a historical fiction novel with a little bit of fantasy mixed in. Anyways, it takes place during the witch trials, and at the beginning of the book I actually have a hanging that happens and a burning that happens. I explain what she looks like through the eyes of a 5-year-old girl named Valerie Rose Martin, and then she has a twin sister named Jessica Ellie Martin. And those are names that I have for the girls in Lake Ridge in Cookies Before Breakfast, or kind of in the Woman in White through Cookies Before Breakfast story timeline. And that is the interesting part because I feel like I almost want to have, I can't really explain that far yet. Backtrack. Anyways, I have that trial starting, and so it kind of starts off dark. And then we go into the Martin house, and they have a small 1-bedroom home, thatched roof home, or shingles. I don't know if I explained that far. I haven't really explained too into depth what the house looks like yet. Again, I'm only 9 pages in, but it's kind of like this really cute, like, village house place, and the father, Mr. Martin, is putting piles of, or like blocks of wood into the fireplace, their little fireplace that they have, and his daughter Valerie, who is our main character. The first part takes place or focuses more on Valerie, and then the second part is going to focus more on Jessica and how she deals with everything, because she has a huge, like, her story kind of spirals off in another direction after Valerie. So we have Mr. Martin just trying to build a fire, and then his daughter ends up closing her eyes, and he turns around right when she's opening them and smiling, and he had heard her whisper something, did not understand what she whispered, and then was just like, okay, what are you doing, young child? Keep in mind she is also 5 years old, so she doesn't know what she's doing exactly. It just happens and she can't control it as well. Also, when he turns around, or she had heard him whisper, and then the fireplace started. Like there was a fire that had started. And then he turned around to see her eyes silver instead of blue, as well as her hair silver instead of blonde. So that got him making accusations that she was a witch at this very young age, and she was like, or he was like, hey honey, come over here, and Vanessa, the mother, wasn't really paying attention. She was in the kitchen washing dishes. Comes over, and then she's appalled at him making accusations of her little daughter being a witch. Now, we all know what happens when you make accusations of people being something that they're not. Of course, Vanessa tries not to believe her husband. Well, words are failing me right now. And later on, in the next day, her father is leaving to go on a hunting trip. This was the last page that I wrote. I'm sorry, the last 2 pages that I wrote. And when Valerie goes, Daddy, be careful, do you have your pocket watch? And he has a pocket watch from his grandfather. It's a brass copper watch? Steel or brass copper watch. A brass copper watch with the initials PM on it, and that stands for Patrick Martin. That is kind of like one of the few things that he has from his great-grandfather, and he's always kept it with him when he goes out hunting. So she was like, do you have your pocket watch, Dad? And he pulls it out and reassures her that he has it. Then she starts looking like she's afraid of something, and this time her eyes are not, or I think her eyes turned silver, but she ends up saying, I had a bad dream last night about you getting hurt on your trip. And then he was trying to reassure her that he wouldn't get hurt and it's all good. So he leaves. She turns around to her mother and she's bawling her eyes out. Her eyes are silver, and also her hair is silver as well. That's kind of how I'm differentiating my witch from the actual witches that people thought were witches, or the actual people that thought. The people that were assumed to be witches. There we go. I'm going with words today. Anywho, that is the beginning of Valerie, Jessica's kind of a whole other side of the story. It's kind of two sides of this coin. Her side is way more depressing, I guess, because Mallory is a witch, a real life witch, and she has to pretty much go throughout the whole book, go throughout her whole life from the time she's 5, because they are both 5 years old at the start of this book, and from that moment on to up until she dies, she has to watch other people who are being accused of being witches being hung and burned to death while she's living. So that is very hard for her, and she's kind of concealed herself so that she wouldn't die, and she always felt like that was kind of selfish of her as well, because here she is, an actual witch with actual magic, doing actual magic, being able to see the future and make fire, which she should be afraid of fire, but she isn't afraid of fire. She loves the warmth of fire, and I explained that in the very beginning. She loves the warmth of fire, and I just realized most of my witches like fire. Like fire. I don't know what that is about me and that element, but it just happens, I guess. But Mallory has to live her whole life in a lie, which is very hard on her as well as her family, because her family has to keep this secret as well, and they had to keep it first, and they've kind of kept her in the shadows as much as they can throughout her life. So that part of the story I'm going to share right now because that's what I have. I don't really want to say the ending of the story, or should I say the second half of the story? I don't know if I'll do it in this video, but maybe in another video I'll do a part 2 once I get farther into the book. So again, Jessica is kind of like that bridge gap that can connect the beginning of the beginning of Lake Ridge, and I have it all planned out if I want to go that way. I even have that scene that in Cookies Before Breakfast I would be writing, but I'm taking a break in writing this to see if I can actually write this as its own historical fantasy novel, or if I need to bridge the gap between this one and Lake Ridge so that I can have that kind of consistency there. I'll let you guys know what I decide to do. And my hair is just, I took a shower, and when my hair blow dries, it kind of looks like, or not blow dries, air dries, it kind of just looks like a mess and frizzy and Hermione like. I've been called Hermione because of my hair. Just anyways, that's not important. That is kind of all that I want to give for this All About My Novel video. If you liked it and would like to see me talk about or talk more about this story and these characters, let me know in the comments down below and give this video a thumbs up. If you want more writing videos or book related videos or movie reviews, I am going to do a movie review right after this. I was just writing and realized I need to film a video. So I'm doing that right now. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this All About My Novel video. It's the first one that I've done probably since Zamora, which is out now. Shameless plug. I actually have Zamora out for 99 cents, which is the same price that I have for all of my my 5 short stories, as well as my poetry book and Zamora. So I'm really excited to be working with this story and to be doing all the research. All the research that I've done is pretty much the same general like knowledge that people have of the Salem witch trials, because this is a brief history of the Salem witch trials. And I just feel like, sorry. Anyways, I just feel like it's so interesting to create my own story out of this, and I did bounce it off of the Woman in White story in my own version from my Lake Ridge story, because I thought, hey, this could be a prequel, but now I kind of want it to be its own historical fantasy novel. And yes, this is going to be a dark novel. There's a lot of killing, there's a lot of accusations, there's a lot of, well, it's Salem in 1692 when the witch trials start, so you guys can imagine how dark this is going to be, especially with a witch who, or with someone who is actually a witch, having to watch everyone die and being so afraid to walk out of her house, because, or having people come into her home for like dinners or to hang out or anything. I am fairly excited to write this, so, and hopefully one day I'll share it with you guys, but until then, I will talk to you guys later in my next video, which is going to be my review video. I hope you guys have a lovely Monday and a lovely start to your week, and I will see you later. Bye!